My name is Scott Frappier, and I'm the Chief AI Architect here at Stone Ridge Software. I've been in the business system space for over 23 years, and this AI shift has been a very exciting time period in our industry, and it's been something I've been very passionate about. I'll be your host and presenter for today's session, where we look at the insights with Business Chat, with also a discussion around agents as well. So today, just to be very specific on what we are going to be covering, really what we're looking at is going to be what we call the business chat capability on Microsoft 365 for Copilot. You'll hear another acronym used, which is typically Biz Chat as well. And basically what it focuses on is how we actually go through and get real-time answers to help streamline your workday as you go through your daily operations. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek as well regarding agents, which extend this capability as we go through this. But today, I want to hopefully give you some topics or some capabilities or prompts, as we call them as well, that you can use inside of your environment to become more efficient or faster at what you're doing within Copilot. Remember, Copilot is all about assisting you with your day-to-day operations to go faster. And this has been an important concept that we've been trying to discuss in more detail with many prospects and customers. And I will tell you, once you understand and realize the power of what you can do here, it's actually really, really cool in terms of what you can actually accomplish and tackle. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's go ahead and look at then some of the biz chat based capabilities that we have inside of the Copilot enablement. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and what we should see is going to be basically a web browser. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Microsoft 365/chat to access my business chat-based capability inside of the Microsoft platform by using Copilot. Now, when I log into here, one of the very first things I just want to kind of highlight is the fact that, remember, when we talk about Copilot, Copilot runs on trust, meaning it runs inside of your environment with your data without exposing that then to Microsoft. Now, in this situation, what we can see is that I've got a bunch of prompts that have popped up for me to be able to potentially use to identify, for example, maybe topics that I want to research or understand more inside of my business and also externally on the web to be able to gather information to go faster. For example, if I want to stay on top of AI, as you can see from the prompt suggestion that's here inside of our AI assistant, I can click on this particular prompt and see some of the information that it actually creates then to have Copilot go and search for additional details that are related to that particular topic. Now, one of the things to note here is that when we use Copilot to do research, for example, around different types of topics, the way I like to equate it to is something very akin to what Google was when it was introduced back in the 2000s. If you remember, people that learned how to use Google to find information were able to come up and back with more pertinent results, basically, in that organization for schoolwork, as an example, back in the time for me as well. But the interesting thing about it is that now with Copilot, we can use an AI assistant to go grab a lot of that detailed information. And we can even take that information and meld it together with company-specific information. So when I'm talking about finding the latest publications on AI research, you can see when I asked this question of Copilot, it went through and basically identified both corporate-based content that we have created internally, and as well as different web-based content that we can marry up together to be able to really get answers about that particular topic. As an example inside of here as well, you can see that even the different documents that are related then to that particular prompt are shared here. And I can use this in what we call a conversational way, obviously, to basically go through and get additional information about that particular topic. So just as an example here, if I want to list the key points that are embedded inside of that PowerPoint file that was discovered when I was asking about AI enablement for our organization and on the web, what I can do is I can actually take, for example, that content, reference that file, and then actually go ahead and press play for it to go through and then take that detail and then bring that summary back for me so I can understand what that content is inside of that particular document. Now, think about it this way. you get a document that's going to be a 10 or 20-page document that at some point you're probably going to have to review. Wouldn't it be nice to actually take Copilot and use it to actually go through and summarize key points that are related to that, or ask questions about the content inside of that data instead of opening up Word, hitting Control F, searching for a keyword? Instead, we can use Copilot to really address some of those challenges and needs. So just as an example here inside a business chat, what I could do is also ask it additional prompts or questions regarding, for example, maybe my emails or background or content. As an example, what was my last message that I received from Deb, right? As a part of this. And so these different types of prompts, as you can see, can go through and identify, for example, different content inside of your organization that you can join together to basically identify then content, interactions, summarizations, detail regarding that, right? And what's really cool about it is that it allows you to become more efficient in your job as you're interacting with it. Now, prompting doesn't stop here, right? There's a lot that we've talked about at Stone Ridge on how you classify your prompt, what you interact with as you do that, how you actually then make the prompt more powerful to get the content that's related to it. But just as an example to help you get started inside of your environments, because remember, Copilot for these types of capabilities that I'm showing isn't really expensive comparatively. $20 a month to add the feature for it. And what you can then access, as you can see here, when I click on the view prompts, are going to be additional details that are going to be needed then potentially inside of your environment that you can interact with. We keep on talking about prompt engineers, right? Well, business chat is substantially influenced, obviously, by the ability to actually use then these prompts to be able to get ready for different types of content. So as an example, help me prepare for, well, a meeting. Well, let's talk about the 12 days of Copilot that's inside of here that Bree has assigned to me. And what I can do is have that content look through then that email, any associated content and meetings that I've had related to it, the duration of it, the expected output that was inside of that file for that day, for example, and then also the additional details such as the link to join, as you can see here, as well as additional documents that I can also then interact with. And so as an example here, once again, to be more efficient, maybe I look at that and I say, all right, well, list the key points that Bree actually put inside of the actual 12 days of Copilot. And what it's going to do is it's basically going to go through and navigate through that document. And as you can see here, that meeting was related to day 3 as a part of it. Well, day 3 was included inside of here, as well as the time, the details, and then the winner announcement that we have to tackle, obviously, as a part of this as well. So once again, remember, from a Copilot perspective, there's just a lot of great stuff that you can interact with to be able to really then get information very quickly inside of your organization. Now, one of the things that I just want to kind of highlight is the fact that remember that you can always add context basically to your prompts. So instead of just asking a question, you can ask a question with a document, or you can explore detail about that document, or you can ask, for example, are there any documents that tackle this particular perspective inside of our organization? And it can find that detail for you to be able to bring that back to then summarize that content for you. The highest level thing I want you to kind of understand here is the fact that natural language makes it so much easier to find the information that you're interacting with to be able to then come up with the right answers and the right information for those next steps that you may have. Now, one of the things I do just want to kind of highlight here, because we only have a couple minutes left, really is the fact that, remember, from a prompt perspective, we also have the ability as well to even enable or disable different types of add-ons that then say, for example, we don't allow you to go search the web to find that content, because there's going to be many different organizations that have different types of policies and security requirements, governance as we call it now, that drive then what AI can interact with. And the beauty of this is that because it's embedded inside of the Microsoft ecosystem, we have tools like Purview, and we have data privacy capabilities that are built into the platform that allow for us to really manage that. And the cool thing about it is that we can create new chats and ask new questions, and we can use it in ways that people haven't even dreamed of at this point. As an example, I would like for you to record all tasks that I do and manage those moving forward. Are you able to do this? Right? So, what we can do is we can actually create a chat as an example, add tasks to it, and then from there, even have those tasks create, for example, tasks in Outlook or other applications. Or if you just want to use it as a personal assistant, like I do, I have a task list that's both work and life. And what I do is I combine those together using an AI assistant so that every day I can ask it, for example, summarize my main objectives for today or the tasks that I need to accomplish. And even as an example, if you're going to go in your personal life and you buy a car and you need a maintenance schedule and you need to know when those dates are where you need to do that maintenance schedule, you can ask Copilot to create that maintenance schedule for you along with those due dates to basically then identify different types of events that need to occur then when you go through and maintain your new vehicle, as an example. And I'm just giving you real world examples because we see this time and time again at this point in time when it comes to obviously what we need to be able to address inside of an environment from a task perspective or even from an interactivity perspective. So these Copilot capabilities are really powerful, and it allows you to create many different chats then that you can interact with to basically manage your day. Now, one of the final things that I want to show here is going to be the fact that in the future, these co-pilots are going to be much more focused than this broad co-pilot experience that we have here. And we're going to be covering this in a lot more detail in another session. But what I'm going to do just really quickly here is I'm going to flip into my pre-sales environment where I've gone through and enabled some additional capabilities. And one of those additional capabilities that you're going to see here is the fact that you can use what are called Copilot agents to become much more focused on what you want Copilot to provide in terms of that feedback. I'm not going to show all of it right now, obviously, as we go through this, but imagine that you create an agent that focuses on just answering HR questions using the business chat capability as you go through your day. These are going to be the next steps that you're going to want to look at in terms of the Copilot enablement, because in the future, these agents using business chat can also be automated. And that automation, as you can imagine, is the key focus as to why AI has so much investment around it, because it has the ability to automate many different scenarios inside of your business. And these agents are absolutely going to be a gateway for that moving forward.